Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to MTGO Traders. My name is Taryn, and let's talk about Blue-White Flyers rotation proof for Core Set 2019 Standard. Alright, prepare for all the comments to say, but Chain Whirler, but Chain Whirler. Yes, Chain Whirler might have something to do with this deck not doing too hot, maybe in the brewing process. But it's still a great deck, it's super cheap, and it's really fun. Let's get into it. This is Blue-White Flyers, a deck about kind of going over your opponent, similar to how we have Mono-White Weenies where we're just really low to the ground and fast. Mono-White Flyers is basically that, but with flying support. And of course, Curious Obsession, since we're in blue. Let's go over the deck tech and see what we got. We've got creatures here. We've got 4 Artificer's Assistant, 4 Duskborn Sky Marcher, 4 Restwing Falcon, and 3 Siren Stormtamer. Almost had 4 here, but I felt like because it was just a 1/1 drop, we didn't want to have too many of those in this slot here. And Restwing Falcon is obviously the best 1-drop here for us. Just being a great 1-mana 1/2 and survives Goblin Chain Whirler. But it's also just decent attack power. So we have a ton of stuff on turn 1 we can do in blue and white. Let's get to the top end for our creatures here. We've got Sky Marcher Aspirant and Serra Disciple. That's it. Everything is a 1-drop except for Serra Disciple. And Serra Disciple being a first striker, even though the historic spell kind of has like an ability here where it can pump itself, it's not that important to us. We really don't care about that particular part of it. We just care about the 1/1 first strike because that's amazing. It sets up a ton of great situations for us to get in a ton of damage. And Sky Marcher Aspirant, while it doesn't have flying immediately, throughout the match, it can gain flying, and that's fine by me. So let's move on to our spells here. Something super simple. We've got 16 in total. Blink of an Eye, Pride of the Conquerors, Curious Obsession, and Favorable Winds. Again, this is kind of like the Mono-White Weenie deck, so very similar in build. But we've got Favorable Winds and Curious Obsession. Curious Obsession being the best blue aura right now, like, of all time. If we hit, we actually get to draw a card, and if we stack them on top of the same creature, we can draw multiple cards with the same creature, but we have to attack every single turn for Curious Obsession to be on the battlefield. So this is a all-tap sideways deck every single turn until your opponent is dead. Favorable Winds is a thing that pumps our entire board state, and it's an enchantment, so it actually stays on the battlefield the entire time. And Pride of the Conquerors is another great way for us to end a match. If we have a Sin, we get +2/+2 across the board. If not, it's just +1/+1, so just a good way to get around a Goblin Chain Whirler point of damage. And Blink of an Eye is here for any kind of random removal, planeswalkers, stuff like that. It also has the kicker ability for us to pay 4 and draw a card, as well as bounce something on their side of the field. That's it for our spells. Let's get into our lands really quickly. We've got 21 in total. We've got 10 island and 11 plains. That's it. This is a super bare bones deck, and because of that, it actually means we just run the deck as needed, as quickly as possible against our opponents. So let's get into our sideboard and see what we're working with here. Gideon's Reproach, Negate, Seal Away, and Exclusion Mage. So all of these are really good for us. Exclusion Mage being probably one of the best ones, and Gideon's Reproach being another good one for us against any kind of flying damage, especially Goblin Chain Whirler as well. Keep saying that, but it is a big deal to deal with. Negate is also here for any kind of hate removal or any kind of Bondhood's Last Reckoning, any kind of Hour Devastation, anything like that. And Seal Away is here to helpfully deal with any kind of tapping opponent's creatures, like a Rekindling Phoenix, something like that. Next up here, we've got Invoke the Divine, Haramancer's Cage, and River's Rebuke. River's Rebuke is here if we have a opponent that's also playing a really low-to-the-ground strategy, like a mono-red aggro deck. Invoke the Divine is here to gain some life, kind of lasting a little bit longer, and getting rid of any kind of artifact in our way. If it's an artifact creature, it's out of there. We gain 4 life as well and continue to move forward. And Haramancer's Cage is here to grab a Karn, any kind of non-land permanent we don't like on their side of the field as well. But because of all these cards being basically nothing, the grand total of the price is coming to about 2 tickets, 2.5 tickets, honestly, on MTGO Traders. And if you want to build this in paper, it's coming to about 25 bucks. So super cheap, super low to the ground, rotation proof, and a lot of fun. Like, this is a deck I had a ton of fun testing, and was just surprisingly fast. And if opponent didn't have like a Chain Whirler on turn 3, like as soon as possible, without us playing a Favorable Winds on turn 2, then they just kind of won. But besides that 1 point, we actually did really, really well throughout the entire match. Really liked everything that was going on throughout the match. You will notice that there is kind of a graphical hiccup on my slides here. Seal Away, there's actually two of them in the deck as well. There's 1 Seal Away in the sideboard, but also 2 Seal Away in the main board, so it just didn't show up on my slides. So keep that in mind. So if the comments are like, it's not in there, but it's on here, I'm pointing it out right now. So All right, guys. Let's get into maybe some matches here and see what we can do with this deck. All right, let's get into match 1 with blue-white flyers. Got some nice art there for you today. Got a decent opening hand with Curious Obsessions and Artificer's Assistant. So we go Assistant, pass turn, G2 Lava Runner. So this could be a Wizard list. We see the blue there, so it might be Wizard or a mono-red aggro list. Go with a Curious Obsession first. And lay the planes thinking we're going to get into a one mana white drop creature, but probably should have just gone 2 Curious Obsessions, but was a little afraid of seeing a removal spell that first Curious Obsession drop. Don't like putting all of our eggs in one basket. Drawing into a Sky Marcher Aspirant, putting the second Obsession onto our creature, making it a 3/3, drawing us 2 cards here. And on turn 3, it's already kind of backbreaking how much advantage we're gaining right now. No mana still, but we have a Serra Disciple coming in on this turn. Opponent's going to go with a tap out and go for Syncopate for 1, which means it is exiled into the exile zone. Pass turn, opponent did not lay a land, but they go with an Odd here on their main phase 1. They go with a second mountain. Okay, so 3 lands. They're still on pace. We go for 3 in the air once again, drawing 2 more cards. And we just got a ton of stuff to play out this turn. Gonna go with the, let's see, maybe Siren Stormtamer first. And gonna go for, actually, opponent scoops it up after that Siren Stormtamer is played because of the removal. If they needed to get into it, they couldn't use it on the Assistant, thanks to the redirection ability. So we bring in Negate here, and also bringing in some Seal Aways. Have another decent opening hand for us, lots of white creatures. Red mana for the opponent here. Gonna go with a white and go with the Rustwing Falcon, a fantastic 1 mana 1/2 flyer. 2 mana for them. They pass turn. Gonna go with our white here and go Rustwing Falcon, and then just get 2 more attackers out here. Rustwing Falcon again, and Sky Marcher Aspirant. Keep in mind, once we hit Ascend, the Aspirant is a flyer as well. Ooh, at least a Cinderwind, so this is definitely a Wizard list. Gonna go with a blue mana here. And you'll notice that there isn't a check mark on the block, and I didn't notice that until after I attacked here. I'll notice it the next time, but we can't go Gideon's Approach here. We just actually go through combat, and they trade with the Aspirant, which is very interesting. We go for Serra Disciple in main phase 2 and pass turn here. 5 cards in hand for opponent. They play out another Cinderwind, which this time we do need to make sure that the block is unchecked here when we attack in. Going, oh, is the block unchecked? Up, it's not. No! But the damage is here still, so we can't go with the Reproach there. Very nice. 5 cards in hand for opponent. Going to go with the Seismic Shift, which is a card that I haven't seen in Standard ever. Getting rid of our island here, taking us off that. But we draw into an island immediately, and then just crash in for 4 points of damage, dropping them down to 10. Pride of the Conquerors. Oh, that actually scoops it up. Nice. Pride of the Conquerors the following turn would have ended that match very nicely for us. Getting into match 2 here. Artificer's Assistant on turn 1. Curious Obsession in hand is always a good keep. Blue mana for opponent here. Gonna go for Curious Obsession onto the Assistant, getting in for 2 points of damage, and drawing us a card. Playing on Artificer Assistant on main phase 2, not bad at all. 8 cards in hand. We have a Glacial Fortress from the opponent. This could be a control list here. Seeing Chart a Course, so this might be, there it is, Godfarrow's Gift in the graveyard. This is definitely Godfarrow's Gift list. Let's get in for 3 points of damage. This is just a race against time now. Once they hit 4 mana, they may go for a refurbish, but they also have to have creatures in the graveyard too to make that work. So 3 mana here from the opponent on turn 3. Let's see, do they have, yep, Strategic Planning here. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand and the rest into the graveyard. Could pitch a big creature here. 6 cards in hand. Let's see what they go with here. So next turn for us, we want to go, let's see, Strategic Planning, Hypno Rivulet, and Thopter Arrest, so no creatures just yet. They pass turn here. We're going to go with a Duskborn, Sky Marcher, or Serra Disciple after the attack here. Drawing a card, getting into another Pride of the Conquerors. Serra Disciple for us. We're so close to Ascend here. Chart a Course from the opponent. They hit another land here, and then they just go Chart a Course again, tapping out. They have 11 life. Keep in mind, Pride of the Conquerors is a card that just wins the game out of nowhere. We hit our white mana, and then that's 10 on the board. We go for Pride of the Conquerors, +2 across the board, and extra for just, salt in the wound. Very nice. Bring in Invoke the Divine, taking out Seal Away here, and one Pride of the Conquerors as well. Took out the do that. Okay. Invoke the Divinus here to gain some life as well as slow down a God-Pharaoh's Gift strategy. 3 mana hand here, a decent keep. No Curious Obsession though. Tap land for opponent. Gonna go for Artificer's Assistant once again. 7 cards in hand for the opponent here. And they go with the Glacial Fortress and go chart a course, throwing away a Angel of Invention. So a turn 4 refurbish with a God-Pharaoh's Gift is kind of scary now. So we might actually have to scoop into it if we don't find something soon as far as removal for God-Pharaoh's Gift. Chart a course once again for the opponent. Drawing 2 cards, discarding a God-Pharaoh's Gift, and getting out Authority of the Consuls. That slows us down majorly, but we have favorable wins here. And we play out Siren Stormtamer and get in for 4. Do they have the turn 4 refurbish? They do not. They go Champion of the Wits here. They didn't hit their land drop before main phase 2 play here. I'm sure they will now. Throwing away 2 more Angel of Inventions. Jeez. They still didn't hit their land drop though. Wow. 2, 4, 6, 8 permanents on the battlefield. We get in for 6 in the air, dropping them down to 10. There's their 4th mana. Getting in for 2 here. Do we see a refurbish this turn? Very surprising to not see a refurbish this turn, but we didn't see it prior to combat, so we might not see it at all, honestly. Thopter Arrest is hitting the Artificer here. And we actually let this resolve thanks to Siren Stormtamer, since they are all 2/2s. So we're going to go with a Island here and play out our Sarah Disciple. This does allow them to gain a life. It puts them a little bit more ahead. We still do 4 points of damage, dropping them down to 7. We're at 9 permanents now. But opponent goes with the refurbish on God-Pharaoh's Gift, getting back Angel Invention. It is a 4/4, turning into a 6/6 Flying Vigilance Lifelinker. We're down to 9 thanks to that. We hit Curious Obsession, which isn't bad, but still not really much can be done about the Angel of Invention situation here. We do attack out here all out, but they block, of course. We go Pride of the Conquerors, can't really do anything, and just scoop that up. Let's see what we take out. We take out the negates here, bringing in... Now we bring in the negates back in. Sorry, or Blink of an Eye's back in. Bringing in the cage over a Pride of the Conquerors and hitting submit. We just have to be faster than the refurbish there. Had a terrible opening hand, go with a mulligan and keep that. Siren Stormtamer, we're thinking about hot top or bottom. We keep it on the top there. Gonna go with a Sky Marcher Aspirant. Keep in mind they really don't have a turn 1 play based on their style of deck. Going to go with the attack here for 2 and then play out the Sky Marcher and Stormtamer, trying to be as aggressive as possible here. 7 cards in hand for the opponent. Glacial Fortress coming in, tapping. Chart a course, throwing away God-Pharaoh's Gift. We may see another one coming in on turn 4. Let's get in for 4 points of damage on turn 3, drop them down to 14, and play out Sarah's Disciple. Now, Blink of an Eye can bounce that God-Pharaoh's Gift into their hand if we need to. Aether Hub coming in for the opponent here. Champion of Wits coming in. We don't want to Blink of an Eye because we do have the Aspirant here, but it doesn't have flying just yet, so we could Blink of an Eye the Champion of Wits, but they would be able to draw and discard cards. Angel of Invention going to the graveyard once more. So we're kind of counting our permanents here and going, no, we don't have this in just yet. Getting in for 3 in the air instead, driving them down to 11. Opponent looking to attack in here for 2. No land drop or refurbish this turn, looks like. Main phase 2 here. Do you have another plater lined up? There's the 4th mana. Just don't have refurbish. Okay, so now it's basically just a ticking time bomb for us. Let's go with a favorable wins and get in for 2, 4, 6, 8 points in the air. Next turn would be lethal for us. But they have Settle the Wreckage. We're going to go the Siren Stormtamer and get rid of Settle the Wreckage. Drop them down to 5. Strategic planning from the opponent, so we still don't see the refurbish on this turn, which means we represent lethal. Sunscourge Champion actually gains some life up to 7 here, so actually puts them out of lethal range. Sky Marcher coming in for us if we need to. Trying to think about ways for us to get extra points of damage in, but we just don't have it just yet. So we go for the Sky Marcher attack out, or in, and then get in for 4 points in the air, dropping them down to 3. We're so close. Can we do it? Blink of an Eye is a great card. If they go refurbish God-Pharaoh's Gift into Angel of Invention, do they have it? Ooh, they don't have it. They get in for 4 points of damage against us. We just let it happen. Now all we have to do now is wait for a Settle the Wreckage if they have that the following turn. But they don't! They scoop it up! Nice! Let's get into match 3. That was awesome. We actually keep a 1 lander here for us on turn 1. Stitcher Supplier, which is a cool reanimator deck here. Going away Vicious Offering on turn 1 here. Passing to us. We need a blue mana soon for that Curious Obsession. Gonna go Sky Marcher Aspirant. Even though it doesn't have flying, we can still get in some good damage. Opponent works on trying to kill that supplier. Scrap Heap Scrounger. Okay, so this is a cool supplier Scrounger deck here. Gonna go Sky Marcher, Sky Marcher. Thinking about attacking in, but decide against it. 4 cards in hand, laying a 3rd land here for an opponent. Thinking about maybe some removal against us here. The 3/2 can attack in, of course, but they decide not to just yet. Main phase 2/3, gonna go for a Yahini Undying Partisan. 3 mana, gonna go for a Sarah Disciple, and just get 2 in the air. Trying to make sure we can get our Ascend as soon as possible with Sky Marcher Aspirant. Opponent's probably really confused in what we're on right now. They don't really know what they're playing up against. 5 mana, or 5 damage coming towards us. We accept that and pass the turn. Stitcher Supplier once again for opponent. Going away Liliana and 2 lands. Tapping out for a reassembling skeleton. Curious Obsession again in our hand. We definitely need blue mana soon. Is it worth it to even go on here? We kind of go with a thinking about conceding here at this point. Just based on the board state here, we can't go Pride of the Conquerors and pass. So Pride of the Conquerors is being used as a defensive spell this turn. 1 card in hand from the opponent. Looks like they're going to attack out with 3 here. Gonna go with a double block here and go Pride of the Conquerors in response to this. Now keep in mind, Sarah Disciple is a first striker, which means it can kill the Scrap Heap Scrounger, no problem. And the Stitcher Supplier just dies to our 3/2 as well. So this does cause the Stitcher Supplier to throw 3 more cards into the graveyard, and they can get Scrap Heap Scrounger back. Main phase 2 from the opponent, 1 card in hand. They can go If Near Dead lands on something. Ooh, Seal Away for us. Good top deck for us against that Yahini here. So just continuing to have good cards for us, even though we don't have blue mana just yet for those Curious Obsessions. Let's get in for 3 in the air, possibly? Yes. We're up to 13 now. Or have been at 13, rather. Sorry. Passing turn. In step, they go with the Scrap Heap Scrounger Reanimation, getting rid of that Stitcher Supplier. 2 cards in hand for the opponent. Another land. Attacking in for 3 and 1. Both of these cards are cards they can get back from the graveyard, so we just let them hit us. Down to 9. Ooh, Marionette Master here. Very powerful, making 3 servos. We finally hit our island. But it might be too little too late here. Let's go Curious Obsession onto the Aspirant. It makes it a 3/2 flyer. Trying to think what we want to do here. Let's just attack in for 3 in the air, drawing a card. Sarah Disciple is also pretty decent as well. We're going to pass with a Pride of the Conquerors held up for blocks. 1 card in hand. Open the Graves is the actual deck here. This is the deck archetype. Very nice. Opponent looking to probably attack out with everybody here this turn. Yeah, that's what they do. Alpha Strike. Now keep in mind the Marionette Master does lose, makes us lose life if it dies, or if artifacts die. So we want to put the first striker onto the Master. We're kind of thinking about the best way to do that. Going, maybe go that way. No, we want to go this way because the Master makes us lose life. So block some tokens and take 6 points of damage, going down to 3. Now, if the tokens die, it doesn't create a zombie token as well. Let's see here. Can maybe go Obsession onto the Aspirant once again? Yes, that's exactly what we do. 4, 5, 6, 7 points of damage in the air, but we just attack out with a 4/3. Draw 2 cards. 2 Rustwing Falcons. Not bad as far as a play goes here. And pass the turn. We've got enough blockers for a while, so let's see if we can actually close out this game here. Very grindy match for us, and so happy that we got around that Marionette Master. Opponent was sort of foolish attacking in there. seeing as we had a Pride of the Conquerors the first time. Looks like opponent's going to go with another Alpha Strike here. Going to continue to just block everything. First Strikers do survive here. West-Wing Falcon should have blocked a reassembling skeleton, but was a missed block opportunity there. And they create 2 zombie tokens here as well. We're so close to lethal. We have 6 points of damage in the air right now. If we hit a favorable winds or another Pride of the Conquerors, we win this match. Hit a plains, okay. Let's go for just 4 in the air once more. This is going to represent lethal next turn. Drawing 2 more cards. Favorable winds is the card we definitely want here. We grab that, throw that out at the battlefield, then a Sarah Disciple, and another Falcon. So this is 2 or 3, actually, 2/2 First Strikers against the zombies here. They reanimate a Scrap Heap Scrounger and a Reassembling Skeleton this turn. And we actually do the math here, and we actually no, we're so close, but that's it. Opponent inched out that win there. So let's bring in Invoke the Divine and take out some the Blink of an Eyes. So close on that particular match. So let's see what we can do in game 2 here. But yeah, opponent was on 4, we were on 3, and just 1 point of damage I think made the difference there. It's really surprising how the Blue-White Flyers list is one of my favorite lists right now, just based on how it's performing in the tournaments, the tournament practice arena, or tournament practice like area of MTGO. Like first, yes. 3 mana hand with a Sky Marcher and an Obsession. Definitely a keep for us. With Seal Away in hand as well for a Yahini. Go Sky Marcher, pass turn for the opponent's Citrus Supplier, throwing away 3 lands. Wow, very unlucky for them. Sarah Disciple, we're going to go Obsession onto the Sky Marcher and just attack in for 2 in the air, drawing a card. Obsession, again, one of the best auras in Standard right now. Can't play anything because everything else in their hand is 2 mana. But that is perfectly alright. Land number 2 from the opponent, they pass turn. Gonna go for a Siren Stormtamer before attacks here. Trying to get around any kind of removal. But we also go Sarah's Disciple, so it could have been a mistake there to do that, since the Stormtamer can't protect the Sky Marcher. And absolutely, was a mistake. Vicious Offering killing the Sky Marcher there. Does slow us down considerably as far as card advantage, but that's perfectly fine. We have Pride of the Conquerors and Seal Away in our hand. And I think that's probably going to be alright. No mana drop from the opponent on main phase 1. Getting in for an attack, but we also have the First Strike. That does mean they throw stuff into the graveyard, but they still don't hit anything interesting. Scrap Heap Scrounger does hit the board, though. Favorable wins off the top, making our creatures both 2/2s, and that's all we do. We just crash in for 4 here. So we don't really have to worry about any kind of damage hitting us. We're at 20, so life is a resource until it's not. That's how I treat it here. We also have Seal Away for a Scrap Heap Scrounger attack if they decide to do that, but a second Scrap Heap hits the board. Not good for us. Land here for us. Gonna go Seal Away on the 1 Scrap Heap Scrounger, and then get in for 4. Once again, drop them down to 10. Keep in mind, the Sarah Disciple could be used as a First Strike deterrent against the Scrounger. We just want to represent more damage turn over turn as well. Attacking us in again, dropping us down to 14, and going for a Bane Whip Punisher here, weakening our Sarah Disciple, making it a 1/1 once again. Artificer's Assistant hitting the board here for us. Now we're counting all of our permanents and getting in for 3. Down to 9 here. And 7 thanks to the First Strike hitting first. So close to lethal with our 2 Pride of the Conquerors. We're at 9 permanents right now on the battlefield. We just need to hit a land or maybe another creature next turn. But if we hit a land, it'll be perfect because of the 2 Pride of the Conquerors going off. They attack in once again for 3. 5 cards in hand. Tapping for Desecrated Tomb. Ooh, we hit a land off the top, and that is it. We are in business here. Going Pride of the Conquerors. And they don't have any mana to use on the Punisher here. And that is it. Nice. Alright, let's get into game 3 here. Pride of the Conquerors is a fantastic card. Good build-around card for this kind of deck list. Absolutely. Not really wanting to change anything for game 3, so just hit submit and go back in. We have a super heavy mana hand, so we go with a mulligan and think about maybe keeping that or bottoming that land. So we go with the bottom there. Tap land from the opponent here. Curious Obsession off the top since that bottom land, and it's perfect now. Rustwing Falcon for us, and second land for the opponent. No Stitcher Supplier. Let's go with a Curious Obsession. Does it die to a Vicious Offering or something like that? It might. It is a 2/3 though. They would need to cast down or something. Grabbing it into a Siren Stormtamer, so good value so far. 3 mana from the opponent. Passing turn. Siren Stormtamer for us. And we kind of learned our lesson last time, so we're going to keep that blue mana available from the Siren Stormtamer. Attacking in for 2, once again drawing an extra card. It is a land. Passing to the opponent, 7 cards in hand. They're laying Ifnir Deadlands here. And going for a Scrap Heap Scrounger. Pass turn back to us. We go Curious Possession onto the Falcon once again, and hoping for no removal, and then should attack out for 3 in the air. Could have attacked with the Stormtamer as well, not sure why we didn't do that. Favorable Winds is also a play, another Curious Possession as well. So, we're still just kind of playing conservatively right now. They're tapping out here for, something. Maybe that enchantment, Open the Graves enchantment. Liliana Death's Majesty, ooh, okay. Making a 2/2 here, going up to 6, and pitching 2 lands to the graveyard. Getting in for 3 here, we're going to go Seal Away and grab that Scrap Heap Scrounger. Making another permanent on the battlefield. They're tapped out completely. We have lots of options here. So we're going to go probably with a Favorable Winds first, pumping our entire board state. And Curious Obsession back onto the Falcon. And since the Liliana really isn't that big of a threat to us right now because it's not at 7 yet, we're just going to hit for this and represent lethal next turn. And play Duskborn Skymarcher as well. Now opponent has to have a removal spell for the Falcon or we win here. Noxious Gearhulk definitely is a good removal spell. It also gives them lots of life back, going back up to 12. Ouch. And now Liliana is at 7, so it really is a bad situation for us. Was not expecting Noxious Gearhulk in the slightest. Going for Favorable Winds here, just trying to build our board state back out with permanents for Ascend. And thinking about whether or not we want to play Serra Disciple or Skymarcher this turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we definitely have Ascend here. 3 to the face, 3 to Liliana, dropping her down to 4. And playing out Serra Disciple and Duskborn Skymarcher. Keep in mind, all we're trying to do now is just go for Pride of the Conquerors. Now, we still have Lethal on board too, so just trying to see what the opponent's going to do this turn. If we had played Invoke the Divine on Noxious Gearhulk, they would have reanimated it with Liliana, and that is something we definitely don't want to do. Opponent getting in for 5. We let it happen since we're at 13. 3 cards in hand for the opponent. Playing Vicious Offering, sacrificing the Gearhulk to itself. Very nice. And Noxious Gearhulk killing the Siren Stormtamer. They do gain 3 life here, going up to 12, but that does mean Pride of the Conquerors is still decent for us. They also go with a Soothsayer here. We have more than enough firepower in the air. Just going to crash in for 9 in the air. And it's also Pride of the Conquerors time. Ascend hits, and that's going to be the game. Very nice. Meteor Golem was their card in hand. Had a fantastic game there. Let's get into match number 4 here and see what we got. Have a decent opening hand. Favorable Winds is our draw here. Duskborn Skymarcher coming out on turn 1. Black-green from the opponent. We also get a Curious Possession here, so kind of afraid to play it without playing the Siren Stormtamer. Black-green usually has a ton of removal, so we just attack in for 1 first, being a little conservative, and then play out the Siren Stormtamer. Pass turn back to the opponent. 3 mana here for them. Going for a Thallid. So we basically, after seeing that, we go, okay, well, the gates are probably open here, so let's go with a Curious Obsession and get in for 5 in the air on turn 3. Drawing a card and dropping them down to 14. This is probably black-green fungus. Saproling, I guess. 4 mana from the opponent here. Yep, definitely Slimefoot hitting the battlefield, so this is definitely a Saproling deck. Gonna go with a white mana, and then just attack in for 5 once again in the air on turn 4, drawing another card, and playing out the Rustwing Falcon. Favorable wins is favorable in our direction this game. Another land drop from the opponent. We're representing almost lethal on the board. 7 points of damage on the board. If they don't have anything, they don't have anything. They're tapping out for Song of Freyalise, and that is it. We have Pride of Conquerors in hand right now. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Laying a land in Pride of Conquerors. That's going to be the game. Very nice. Oh, just painful. Just painful. And then, oh, they scoop up! Woo, blazingly fast. And a ton of fun, honestly. Hope you guys like the matches here. Like if you like it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and make sure to hit that notification bell to notify you when we have a new video going on the channel. We have a video every single weekday, Monday through Friday. And, I don't know. We also have... Keep in mind, guys, that this will probably be the last deck tech for a while because preview season starts like this week, technically next week. But we already have, leaks this week because, WotC is a leaking ship. And, this will be the last one for a while, but I'll be back with them very, very soon. Just keep that in mind. If you want to catch with some matches as well, Kenji's obviously going to be uploading some content to the channel, and I'm streaming on my Twitch channel every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I'll put the link in the description, not in the description, in the comments, pinned comment. I stream at 11 Central Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time on my Twitch channel. I'm sure it's right here too, or right here, right there. Yeah. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. I hope you liked it. Love you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel for more awesome MTG content just like this. And make sure to tap the bell icon to be notified whenever a video is made live. If you want to keep watching content, here are 2 more videos for you. This video and many others are sponsored by MTGO Traders and Cape Fear Games. Buy and sell digital singles to build your online collection today with MTGO Traders, and get your paper singles, accessories, and much more from Cape Fear Games. Whatever your Magic needs, both places have you covered.